Alright everyone, here we are with ticker symbol IDEX, Ideanomics Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So IDEX continues that sideways movement, but it's slowly coming down and down over time. Now, it's hanging out in the 180s to 190s area pretty much for the last couple of days, and we're going to watch this closely because it hit a peak here of about 203 and then it started to fall. The lowest point I've talked about is 170, right? That's the one point that you want to keep in mind if it gets broken through. But Ideanomics, it's holding itself up. There's great potential here. I know the whole scandal happened recently. I've talked about it in the previous videos, but Ideanomics has room to grow, has room to actually provide a product and service. It has room for all those big potential. So let's see here. Resistance was touched right early on in the day and it got rejected right there. So this resistance is pretty interesting. Even though we slightly broke through it, it is still very important. 187. And it's not going to change by much. We're about to move this resistance level. And you're going to see it's, I think, about the same exact resistance level but in a higher position. Yeah, it's within the same amount of cents because this is moving by the hundreds and thousands place. They're not showing like 1.8701 all the way to 1.8799, right? So to the thousands place you could see how minimal it's moving, and it's like on the edge of 188. I mean, literally. But then when you put the black mark, it's showing 187. So I want every single investor to be aware of two things. The resistance level from yesterday to today is literally the same one. If you want to round it up, since it's closer to 188, you're more than welcome to. But the 50-day moving average is 187. It's all falling around that same number. Remember, this is moving to the hundreds and thousands place. So when you move from here to here, it's still 187. All of this area here is 187. It's literally showing 188 like on the edge. If I go right there, look at that, 187. So 187 right now is the most important number. We're sitting on it. It needs to be broken through and needs to reach 188 or higher to reach newer highs and new resistance levels. I want every single investor to be aware of that. Now, once that gets broken through, the next resistance level that's quite important is here at 193. And then after that, we have 198. And the highest up here was 204, right? I said 203 earlier, but it's 204. 204 is the most important resistance level to reach newer highs and new resistance levels deeper into bullish territory. So I want every single investor to be aware of that. That's the most recent peak before this sideways movement and fall. Now, if I pull up the MACD, which I want to look at in just a second, let's see if we can pull that up. The MACD would show us, right, indications that this is slightly moving back up. But when you look at it overall, right, it's in a sideways movement just like the chart. And it was going down for some time. This whole time here, it was going down. It was going down. So we're just getting now green bars, dark green bars, which is a good sign. But they need to get more elevated. Like they need to get to the next level, right? Like green bars that are like working their way up. And excuse my terrible drawing, but the concept is that they get higher, right? And create that upward movement effect, staircase effect, just like right here, right? And continue it in this area so it could actually work its way up. Now it'll probably level off at some point and start that downward movement. That's typical. I mean, the volatility of the market exists, but the goal of those dark green bars appearing is the fact that this will start to break through that midway point and get higher. Right? Once it gets higher, it's actually going to pull up the stock with it. When you see it actually break through, that's when you see some breakouts, right? We were at 184, it went to 205. It's only changing it by a few cents. So we want to see something bigger than that. We want to see something more along these lines or something more along these lines. And obviously this would be perfect, but that's that volatility that was immense at that time. So you want to watch how the MACD is responding and where is it heading in the next couple of days and weeks, due to the fact that this has been pretty quiet and it's getting close to the potential here, especially pretty steeply here these last couple of hours, to break through that midway point and actually bring itself up to newer highs and new resistance levels. And we're slightly above the 50-day moving average to the hundreds or thousands place, but everything's just hanging out in that 187 and 188 mark. So we need to watch that closely. Now, let's look at our support. Our support is down here at this point right there. That's the lowest point before this run. And we're going to look at the lowest point reached in the day. The lowest point reached in the day is 181. And the lowest point before this run was 183. You're going to want to watch how quickly this is moving towards 183. And if it breaks through it, how is it reacting between 183 and 181? Right? Are the bulls trying to reappear, or does it break through both? If it does, then we have our next point here, which is 178. And after 178 is 170. So you want to layer it down so you can see how it's acting at these levels and where the bears are dominating and where the bulls are dominating and appearing. So those are kind of tight, right? And they're kind of close. But this stock is moving very minimally, and we need to watch it very, very closely. But the first support before looking at any of those lows is 183. If it gets broken through, pay very close attention to the behavior, due to the fact that that means that crossed the 50-day moving average, it's pulling further away from it and working its way down to newer lows and newer support levels. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money. At the end of this video, there's going to be a pop-up video, and in that video I will be discussing about the S&P 500 index and how it's been rising several points on scheduled dates. As you see here on the graph, these circles are the dates that the pumps have happened, and I use them as examples to show you guys how much the stocks have risen, and the S&P 500 index rose on those dates. And the reason why it's rising is due to the fact that the Federal Reserve is pumping the markets. On these dates, the charts and the dates speak for themselves, as we can see it here, and I break it down into more detail in the video. But just to summarize it, on these dates the S&P 500 rises, and there's individual ticker symbols rising up with it, anywhere from 30 cents to $3 per share. I know it may not seem like a lot, but per share that does add up, and these individual ticker symbols are giving you back profits. These are profits, and like I always say, profits are profits. Whether it's $1 put into the market and you get back $2, you've put in an initial investment and you got back more than what you started with. That's what it's all about. And also in the video, I go into further detail showing you guys these dates and showing you how much it rose. Like for example, this was one of the last pump dates, and the lowest point that it reached was down here at 35.11, and the highest point reached was 35.57. That's like a 40-point jump. And here we're seeing the same thing. It went down to 35.88, and it rose up to about, I'd say, let's see, this is all still in the same day. It rose up to about a total amount of 36.23. When you do the math, that's almost a 40 to 50 point jump, and there's individual ticker symbols rising up with this. Now, I'm not there to guarantee you profits. I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. I'm just here to inform every single investor on the great news, on the opportunity to maximize profits and minimize losses. You have to do your due diligence and research, but these charts and the dates speak for themselves. I mean, this was probably one of the largest jumps that I've seen in the last couple of pumps, and it was down here at 33.02, and it rose up to about 33.88. That was an 80-point jump. There was probably ticker symbols rising up more than $3 per share on those dates. And even on these dates, there's individual ticker symbols rising more than $3 per share. Check it out, see for yourselves, And my best advice is look for ticker symbols that may be resembling the behavior of the S&P 500 index, and you'll be able to go ahead and give it a shot. Check it out. Again, I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. I'm not there to guarantee you profits. I'm just here to go ahead and share the information along with every single viewer and investor. The video should be popping up soon. If you haven't seen it already, pop up. There is the link down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.